Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Backfire Simsport TV. I'm Clyde Whiting, and tonight we bring you round 10 of the BSTV GT4 TCR Challenge, live from what Sam has called on the stream Clyde's Garden, also known as Snetterton. Also with Snetterton, we are doing my favourite layout, which is the 200 and not the 300, which has got the boring bit in the middle. In the booth with me tonight, we have Mr. Yaz, not Yaz. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody.
We also have on the cameras, and I'm sure he'll try and get a word in at some point because he's a bit chatty tonight, Mr. Sam Boozin. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody.
Okay, Yaz, so we have seen, especially, well, we've seen it since season 1, to be honest, but especially in the last few weeks, we've seen some absolutely fantastic racing from these guys. And I always think that this Snetterton 200 circuit, because it's got overtaking opportunities, it's got oh my God, I've got it totally wrong opportunities. Even though it's a very, very simple track, it's one of those tracks that can really mix up the running order, shall we say.
Yeah, so basically what are you looking at here? 8 corners. And all these, you know, they really wanted to name as many races as they can in these corners. So it's a lot of straight driving. There's going to be a lot of drafting, but yeah, exactly like you say, a lot of places to make passes, and then also a lot of places to make mistakes. So with the quality of racing that we've seen so far, let's hope these guys don't make too many mistakes.
Yeah, I'm very interested in who the driver was named Bumhole, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the only corner that that doesn't have isn't named after a driver. But I almost think that Pete Bingham, who isn't here tonight, might have been involved in some way.
Yeah, he could have. For the viewers at home, it's actually called Bombhole. Because Snetterton is another one of those tracks that used to be an airbase many, many moons ago. And obviously at some point there was a hole there made by a bomb. But whenever you are at Snetterton, for those of you that have visited the Costa del Norfolk, whenever you hear the announcers say it, it always sounds like Bumhole. So that's what it is known as. Good evening to Marco Lewert on the chat. Last time out, Yaz, as we said, absolutely fantastic racing. Saw Tyler Newitt take home the GT4 win with Simon Trendle in second, Stefan Goebel in third. TCR, an absolutely epic finish. If I remember rightly, 17 1,000ths of a second between Stephen Lucky Walker in first and Gary Craig in second, with Ryan Walker coming home in third. So all that leaves us quite tight in the GT4 standings anyway. Top 2, Simon Trendle, 1,387. Second, Tyler Newitt, 1,344. And third, Stefan Goebel with 1,193. In TCR, a little bit different. The battle is for second place. So Lucky Walker currently leads the way on 16.32 with Gary Craig in second with 13.41 and Unlucky Walker in third with 13.08. Team standings. Team Chimera currently lead the way. They have 2,168 points. Spectre 6 White are in second with 1,913, and BSTV Esports Green are in third with 1,780. Sam tells me that the driver of the meeting standings is up to date. Stefan Goebel leads the way on that with 4 votes. And then we have a tie for second place with Pete Bingham, Ryan Walker and Stephen Walker, all on 3 votes each. So back to tonight's racing. We are 10 minutes into the 15-minute qualifying session. Yaz, who have you got your eye on tonight?
Yeah, well, the GT4 field is, again, open as it always is. Wobbly kneecaps isn't in here this evening, but in the GT4s we've got Simon Chendall, Tyler Newitt, Rob Vin, Stefan Goebel, all showing. I mean, they all show that we know that they have the pace. Chris Needham has showed some great improvement this season so far. So I don't know who to choose in the GT4s, to be honest. TCRs was a little bit closer last week than what we've seen, or should I say it's been getting closer. Stephen Lucky Hawkers has been running away with it, but that gap has been ever closing, with Gary Craig and Ryan Walker really putting on a fight and coming as close as they could last week. So let's hope that continues. Again, this week I'm hoping that they can just push it just a little step further. And get one over him. Not that I'm wishing any bad on him, but it would just be really great to see if they've got that up. And like you said, this track this week, it's one of those where you just can't make a mistake. If you get it right around here, you're going to be super fast. But make one mistake, you're going to drop really far behind. With this layout, it's really going to be difficult to catch up once you lose the draft.
Yeah, totally agree with that. Just looking at the qualifying as they stand at the moment with just over 3 minutes left. Simon Trendle sits on provisional pole in GT4. Tyler Newitt second, Rob Venn third. Gary Craig sits on provisional pole in TCR with Stephen Walker second and Ryan Walker in third. So it'd be interesting to see if Gary can keep himself at the top of the pile. Interesting you mentioned Wobbly. We hope he gets well soon. He's probably going to be missing for the rest of the season. He has that very, very serious condition called thumbprint on the head. So we hope he's getting on all right with Mrs. Wobbly. And if he's very, very clever, he can do what I do with Mrs. Clyde, and I just watch crap on the telly, and then she gets annoyed and sends me upstairs. So, yeah, try that one. Not watching. Anyway, let's get back to tonight. Can we go on board with somebody, Sam, and just have a look at what this track looks like from the driver's perspective? So here we are into Ritchie's, one of those right-hand turns that gets tighter the more you go in, into the Wilson, sometimes hairpin, sometimes not. Onto Hamilton Straight, so we're missing out all of that infield section, which is really, really good. We're going to go into the left-right, which is Brundle and Nelson. You can carry so much speed into here, but then you've got to bleed it all off by the time you get to here. Then we're going to go through the bomb hole. And then we are going to be into Coram, a never-ending right-hand turn. It goes on, it goes on, it goes on, and it goes on. And there is Murray's. Very easy to run out wide. And we're back onto the start-finish straight. Or we would have been. But Mr. Chenonnier decided to pit. But as you can see, it's a quick lap. It's a little over sort of 1 minute 12, 1 minute 13 for most of the GT4 cars, around the 1:15, 1:16 mark for the TCRs. But like I say, when you get a good lap here, you know you've got a good lap. But you put one wheel wrong and the track will bite you.
Yeah, because it's such a short lap around here, it is one of those that you're going to fall so far behind if you make a mistake. And like you see, there's a lot of easy parts. Oh, but by the way, this is the Bentley straight, not the Hamilton straight. I think
The Bentley straight, sorry, yes.
And yeah, it's just it's just one of those that looks simple, but beware. You just gotta keep your feet in the right place, and your wheels on track to stay in there. It's just like I say, it's just those you just don't want to be making a mistake because you're just going to drop too far behind.
Yeah, although, there are two, not super long straights, but there are two straights which could help keep both fields together.
Yeah, there are sections that are just very long. The two straights are quite lengthy on here. It makes up a big part of this track. Yeah, you could stay together, but I do think that once you fall out of this draft, it's going to be a struggle. Unless the guys up front are playing games again like they do. Wobbly's not here tonight. He's the one who usually plays games up front. But these guys are going to be playing games at the front, trying to save some fuel, trying to do whatever they can. And if there's anybody who gets left behind, they're going to be pushing hard. So I have a feeling that pit strategies and race strategies are going to come into play here. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do, especially like I say, the guy at the front. Is he going to slow things up? Because the drivers are talking about it now. The draft train. That's what we're going to see.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be interesting. Let's see, have we got any resemblance of a grid at the moment? Aha! So I have managed to get my grid up, which is very, very good. So Simon Trendle goes off from pole position in GT4 with Tyler Newitt in second, Rob Venn in third, Stefan Goebel in fourth, and Chris Needham in fifth. In TCR, Gary Craig gets a pole position with Stephen Walker relegated to second, Ryan Walker in third, Shane Powell is in fourth, Carl Hardy in fifth, Russell Cowell in sixth, Arnaud Chenonnier in seventh, JB Dejoux in eighth, Jason Haddington in ninth, and rounding out your field is David Ayres in 10th place.
Yeah, I'm just looking at those qualifying times. You can see, especially in the TCR, there are some sort of groupings of times there. So I have a feeling we're going to see a couple of battles play out this evening at the front and in the back of the pack as well. So I think it's going to be a fun night in the TCRs. The GT4 field is not a big one this evening, but judging by the way that races have gone over the last while, Chris Needham and Rob Venn Rob Venn has just returned after a little bit of a break. He sort of he was a little bit slow up front in the first two races that he returned, but I'm sure he'll be back. He's in third place there. He's going to be back tonight. I can see the pace is going to be there tonight.
Oh, Tyler's got his new BSTV esports shirt on.
Oh, I need one of those. It's a nice looking shirt.
We could have picked a better model, Sam, to be honest, but, you can't have everything.
You're talking about Tyler or the shirts? Well, that was a DD one. Sorry, Tyler.
Looks like he's just thrown it on now. The other shirt he was wearing is just laying on the floor behind him.
Okay, pace car is going in.
Yep.
Hello, where's Stefan Goebel going? He's giving himself a lot of space. He's gone.
Yep. Everybody's together.
Everybody. Yeah.
Everybody's together. The teachers haven't waited, and I think it's all about their draft. They're trying to get as much as they can to get as much space. Oh, someone's dropped behind in the. Is that Chris Needham who's dropped behind in the Porsche in the middle of the TCRs there?
I think TCRs went too early. That's created a big mess.
Well, it's certainly close racing anyway.
Yeah, this looks like the 4 Porsches, the 3 Porsches chasing the McLaren around. Chris Needham is now just got himself, and he's got himself between the TCRs somehow, but the TCRs are all stacked together, as you can see there. This is a good start. Everybody's still in this, and we coming up to the end of almost at the end of the first lap here.
Yeah. Most of the cars in quorum at the moment. Very difficult corner with warm tyres, but even worse with cold tyres.
Yeah, I'm hoping Chris Needham is going to be able to get through this pack here very quickly through the 2 front TCRs,
Yeah,
so he can get
like
back
he's
to the back.
making a move at the end of the centre straight. He's got 1, but not the second. Ooh, was that a little nudge? Yeah, it certainly was.
He's getting pushed around here.
Like, come on, man, get your foot down. I'm losing Gary Craig.
Yeah, I'd like to see what happened at that start there. How did he manage to fall behind there? Wonder if it was a case of them jumping quite early there and catching the pack before they were away. It looked like the GT4s were quite slow to pull away. I think it's just a case of not wanting to give the guys a draft behind them down the straight.
Yeah, let's have a quick look. Like you say, I don't know whether he got... See, the TCR's left a gap. I think maybe Gary went early because he wanted to get a jump, and Simon Trendle went late. Well, look, you see see Gary's gone and Simon hasn't yet.
Oh, yeah, and he's caught them completely. And Chris Needham was caught a little bit napping there.
Yeah, strange start.
Okay, so what do we have here? We've got we've got a battle here for first and second.
Tyler is putting the pressure on Simon.
Yeah, they coming through Bommel now. And then we've got Chris Needham has now gotten through all the TCR, so he's should pull away from them a little bit now. Hopefully he can get out of the way of. Get out of the way. Oh, who's that?
I think that cost Stephen Walker a couple of seconds, though. So this is Pies Hardy. Oh, he's got a couple of wheels on the grass. That ain't going to help. And that'll be a slowdown probably as well out there. So not too bad then for Stephen Walker. He's still... Oh, that's where it is.
Shane Powell going a little bit wide.
Tyler wants this lead, I think. And just going back to what you were saying about Rob then, obviously he had that little break. I've known Rob for many, many years, and he is a momentum driver. So the more he drives, the better he gets. So a break doesn't always bode well for him.
Oh.
We've got a slow-mo from Sam. I think he's just practicing.
I think we saw David. I think we missed David is going off back there. He's fallen behind the back of the TCR field quite significantly. But yeah, like you said, those GT4s are really well paced together. You know, we're used to seeing Stefan Goebel, Rob Venn battling it out. So I'm hoping they can put on a show in the sort of second tier. What is that? That looks like a bit of a hardware malfunction.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think that was more of a, I said you can carry a lot of speed into Brundle, but then you've got to get rid of it for Nelson. I think he just didn't get rid of it. Interesting to see what Tyler can do here, if anything. We know from talking to Simon that the Macca's a bit of a pig on cold tyres, and then also a bit of a pig once the tyres are worn. So maybe Tyler's strategy was to try and get past in the first couple of laps. Here's the battle for first place in TCR. Lucky Walker looks like he's pushing Gary. And the pair of them, yeah, I was just going to say, I think exactly what you was going to say, that the pair of them are dropping Ryan a little bit.
Yeah, Ryan's going to be hoping that the two of them aren't working together, and rather try, that Steven is trying to get past, and hopefully that will slow the two of them down and he can catch up. He's been doing really well this season. Yep. Yeah, is this the opportunity? No.
That's a brave move, to be honest, into Bumhole. It's a one-line corner.
Yeah, and also, we've seen this many times this season. You don't want to be the car straight out of the blocks in the lead. You want to be that chasing car and take your opportunity a little bit later.
Tyler's got a good exit there out of Murray's. Yeah. Coming up to Richie's. He's going to get this. Is he going to? He should get it done. There is a bit of grip around the outside, to be honest, which is surprising on iRacing because there is zero in real life.
Yeah, I think. I have a feeling that he's going to play it out. If he can save a little bit more fuel and get the jump in the pit stop, that's going to be where he's going to grab it. I don't think he's going to they're quite evenly matched on pace. So even if he gets in front, he's not going to run away from Simon. So I'm sure he's just biding his time. Sort of saving some tires, saving some fuel as he goes along. This is Tyler that I'm talking about, and you'll play it out on pit strategy.
Chris Needham seems to have dropped a long way off the back of the GT4 pack. Not quite sure what happened there. Seen nothing major on the event tracker.
Yeah, just looking at their lap times, he's not as quick as the front guys this week. As we've seen in a couple of other races of recent, we was really showing some good pace. But looking at the lap times here, he's close to at least half a second slower per lap than the rest of them. That could be a combination of just being all on his own on this track. Like we mentioned before, if you're out of this draft train here, you're definitely going to struggle.
Well, Stephen Walker is definitely in the draft.
Yeah, he's in the back seat of Gary there.
Shane Powell going past JB Dejoux. Shane, we saw earlier, losing a number of positions going off track.
Oopsie.
Ooh, JB's just done the same there. That's why Shane got the run on him. These two dropping Rob Venn a little bit as well.
Yeah, Rob Vin's in the battle with Stefan Goebel.
Yeah.
Completely all over the back of him. So, yeah, we've got a couple of races on here
Yeah, this is
inside the one race.
Jason Haddington and David Ayres. Whoop.
Well held.
Nearly.
Well held. And he's got to be smart about what he does here. Stephen looks very comfortable chasing Gary around this track here as it stands. So Gary's got to play. He's got to put on that. He's got to start thinking about what he's going to do and how he's going to stay in front. For the better part of 50 minutes that's left.
Yeah, Gary basically has got to do to Stephen what Stephen normally does to Gary.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the hard part. Trying to put a gap between himself and Stephen. We know Stephen has been in a different class, all season, and I think Gary and Ryan have just sort of, getting closer to that pace that Stephen's been pushing all season. So I think it's going to be hard for him to do what Stephen has done. What we've seen Stephen do is just pull away from the rest of the pack. But if he can stay in front, he's really got to think about how he's going to keep that, sustain that for the rest of this race.
Yeah, I was more referring to the last race where I think Gary threw everything at Stephen, including the kitchen sink, but couldn't get past him. And I do think Gary and Ryan, I think Stephen has dragged both of them forwards. We are seeing, maybe it's the track choice, I don't know, but we are seeing those guys tending to be able to stick with Stephen recently, rather than Stephen disappearing into the distance. Maybe different next week at Hungaroring, but we'll wait and see.
No, for sure. I think that Stephen coming into the TCRs this season has definitely put a fire under their asses, and they've responded. I mean, at the beginning of the season, Stephen was driving away, like you say, but they've responded and they've upped their game, and yeah, you can see it. In the last few races, you saw them chasing him right on his tail, and now you see Gary leading. Yeah, I mean, he put it on pole and still leading from the front here. So if he can keep this going, I'm sure they'd be very happy with the progress that they've made this season.
Yeah, I think it bodes well for next season, doesn't it? Because I think by the time Gary and Ryan found some pace, Stephen was already, leaps and bounds ahead in the championship. But if it starts off like this from the start of next season, it's going to be a fantastic season. And here's one for Sam. Have you noticed Gary is better when Pete's not here?
Well, I think everybody's better when Pete's not around. Even Pete. Look, he's not crashing.
Yeah, this must be the third week on the trot that Pete hasn't had a crash.
Yeah, and it's probably the longest streak.
Longest.
Yeah, without crashing for Pete.
So, evening to Martin Brennan on the chat. He's only just got home from that there London. And Double R's on the chat as well. How are you guys? We're great, mate. We're just waiting for you to sign up to one of our series, because we miss you and we love you, and I'm feeling all cuddly and furry at the moment. So yeah.
I'm glad we are not live in the same booth, because if you are actually right now, I don't want to be next to you.
You'd love a big cuddle from me.
Oh no. Better eat my poop.
There's nothing wrong with a bit of man love.
Oh jeez. Enough. Back to racing.
So, yeah, as I was saying earlier with these two, I'm wondering whether, Tyler's best opportunity to get past this McLaren is, in the first few laps of the stint or the last few laps in the stint. But the middle part of the stint, Simon can not so much drive the lines that he wants, but put the car in positions that he knows it will stick and Tyler won't be able to get past him.
It's really quite interesting to I don't know if you can, Sam, if you can give us, the onboard shot towards the end of the straights, just to see just to hear what they're doing at the end of the straights. We can, sort of hear if they're lifting off and the engine noises. This corner really does go on forever.
Yeah, the Porsche is very good at Murray's. Okay, let's listen up. There's no lift in there, mate.
I think Tyler's listening to us, and
I think
Tyler's listening to us, and he's responding.
Simon was brave on the brakes there, but not quite brave enough. Ooh, a bit of advertising there on the front of the Macca for us. Yeah, there's the engine. We nearly got as far as Simon's feet there.
Oh, can they hold it? Oh, he does. He's got it back.
Yeah, Rob's now having a look at Tyler. Look.
Yeah, I think Tyler might have been listening to us and then not wanting to show that he was doing any saving.
Yeah,
and he went for it.
Because obviously all the drivers listen to the broadcast, and whatever tactics we say is the best, that's what they go for. So coming up on 19 minutes in. Great battle here. Top four in GT4 pretty much all together.
That is completely on the back of Simon, and he's not letting it go. And then just that little squabble that they had. Yeah, just that little squabble that they had has pulled the other two right back in it. We saw a little bit of a gap forming between the top two and then these two following here, Rob Venn and Stefan Goebel. But I mean, that gap is closed up a little bit. They are looks like they sort of opening that gap again. But I mean, it's still less than a second between each of them.
Good battles in TCR as well. Obviously, we've got the front battle, but further down the field, there's some very close battles as well. This is Arnaud Chenonnier going after Russell Cowell. In the background there, you can see Shane Powell. He's having a look at Carl Hardy.
Yeah, it's nice to see Arnaud Chenonnier up there. In a battle for what is fourth place there. We always mention this, these new entrants who come in. I know RWC have been in since last season, but when they entered last season, you could see them, you could see they were off the pace and just not in it. The quality was just too high. And it almost seemed like they were a little bit starstruck and shell-shocked when they came in. But they've put in the time. They're enjoying themselves with the rest of the guys in the league, and you can see that improvements. We saw Chris Needham get a podium a couple of weeks ago, and like I'm saying now, you're seeing Arnish and Anya battling for fourth place with Russell Cowell and ahead of Carl Hardy.
Yeah, because I think what they did right, and we've seen it. We've had a number of leagues. We've had this league. Look, we're in season 6 now. We see drivers come in. They're at the back of the pack, and they're 2 seconds off the pace, and they go, "Nah, this league's not for me." But when you see somebody's got no, he's just moving out of the way. I thought he had a slow down. When you see teams or individual drivers come in and stick with it, and then you see the improvement coming, and I know from being a slow driver, when you're at the front of the grid, your improvements are in hundredths of a second. When you're near the back of the grid, you're in like half a second and second and a half improvements when you get it right. You might be a certain track, it might be a certain race, and everything clicks, and you go, yeah, do you know what? These guys are not that much quicker than me. A little bit more practice, and I'm there. Early stop for Shane Powell. I think he was just getting out of the traffic.
Might have been a clever move, but yeah, exactly what you're saying there. I mean, what's happening there? But exactly what you're saying. It's all about sticking with it. The league, these guys, you come into the league, and these guys at the front are just super fast. But what else can you do? And what they've done is the right thing, like you say, stuck with it, and they've learned from the guys. I think we mentioned this a few times. We mentioned it all the time, actually. That the group of guys that are here are a really good bunch. They in practice, twice a week, all talking to each other, helping each other. What we see on track here is competition. But what you don't see before this is them all jumping into the practice sessions and speaking to each other and talking to each other, talking them through the laps and the slower guys. They're learning from these from the Stephen Walkers and the Gary Craigs and Ryan Walkers, and like you say, the improvements are massive when you're at the back of the pack there, and it's always better to see yourself. When you're seeing yourself compared to the same guys every week. You can see your improvements. You can see how much closer you're getting to the front of the pack, and that's I'm sure that what they've done here has spilled over into the other racing in the official races and everything else. So good on them for sticking around, and good on them for making those improvements.
Yeah, totally agree. From a slow driver point of view, anybody watching that hasn't done league racing or, excuse me, is a little bit daunted by league racing, you basically join the league, and the first thing to concentrate on is getting comfortable in the car and being safe, making sure you're not ruining anybody else's race. Then once you get to that stage, you then look at somebody who is half a second or a second quicker than you on a regular basis. And that's your target. The guys at the front are not your target. You're not in that league yet. So pick your battles, pick a driver, get yourself some improvement, get up to them, and then when you're consistently beating them, then move your goalposts, go to the next one that's a second or half a second quicker, and your improvements just get better and better and better. League racing is to me anyway, it is just the best thing on iRacing. You're racing against the same drivers week in, week out. You know who you can take liberties with, you know who you can't, you know who's going to block you, you know who's going to let you go, you know who's a little bit wild. And it's like a real racing series. That's exactly what happens in real life. You get to know all of your competitors and how they race.
We've got some more pit stops here.
Yeah, so that's Arnaud Chenonnier coming in. 25 and a half minutes in. So currently top three in each group. We have Simon Trendle, followed by Tyler Newitt, followed by Rob Venn in GT4. And we have Gary Craig, followed by Stephen Walker, followed by Ryan Walker in TCR.
Yeah, these guys are coming up to should be closing in on a pit stop in the next 3 or 4 laps. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Like I said, Tyler's been running behind Simon for just about all of it, except for that one little bit where we were talking about it, where he went to the front and then let him back, and he got it back very shortly thereafter. So I have a feeling that Simon would probably need to come in slightly earlier than Tyler on this one. But yeah, we will never know. Who's this chasing? This is still Gary Craig and Stephen Walker still attached at the hip here. Gary's doing well not to let this go. It's always easier to be the hunter than being hunted. Watching behind you all the time. But the other thing with Stephen is that Gary would be able to just keep going without worrying about Stephen making a mistake anyway and not breaking where he's supposed to. So it's just a matter of making sure that he stays on pace to wherever he's going.
Yeah, I was going to mention that when you've got somebody like Stephen Walker behind you, you're not going to get a stupid lunge from a different postcode or anything like that. Gary's doing really well at the moment, and where being in this situation is very difficult is it's so easy to overdrive the car, trying to keep somebody behind you. Was that a little fake there by Stephen? It just looked like he faked as if he was going to go into the pits then.
Yeah, these the GT4 leaders on our pass are getting close onto the TCR leaders now. So I wonder if we're going to see some stops for convenience here by who it's going to be, if it's going to be the TCRs or the GT4s.
Yeah, I think anybody stopping now obviously can make it to the end. Whether Simon is looking at that traffic in front of him and going, I think now may be a good time. He's got first, second and third in TCRs not too far up the track. In fact, you just saw Ryan Walker there. I think if I was Simon, I might be ducking in the pits this time.
Yeah, all he doesn't want is that the TCR is stuck into the pits in the same lap as him.
Yeah.
That would defeat the purpose. But yeah, I think they probably have some time to still go around a little bit.
Yeah, they've stayed out. Well, they've all stayed out.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think with the layout of the track and the timing here, I mean there are places to pass. Hopefully, you're just hoping you don't come up to them at a really awkward place like where they're coming up to now. But yeah, once they get around this corner, they should be able to make the pass on Ryan down the straight.
Yeah, don't actually think they got held up, did they, there? So...
That seemed fine there. I don't think they lost any time there with those passes.
Ooh.
But still, they all stay out.
So just looking at the time screen, it looks like we were talking about Arnish and Anya a little bit earlier, but now with the pit stops that have passed, it looks like he's dropped behind both Carl Hardy and Shane Powell. I don't know if he had a poor pit stop or what. Let's look at the time. If you can see perhaps on the timing screen if there was something that happened.
He did have an off track.
Yeah, so it looks like he spent a couple more seconds in the pit lane than the others, 2 or 3 seconds longer. And if he had an off track as well, he may have lost out time there. But yeah, he's now dropped back behind behind Carl Hardy and Shane Powell.
Simon Trendle is in.
Okay, that's the first of the GT4s in. And he's pulled in, just right behind those TCR leaders.
Yeah, is this going to cost Tyler Newitt? What's Stefan doing? Whoa! Well, you got that back well. So a lot of the time when you're out there in Coram, you're disappearing towards Suffolk.
Chris Needham also coming into the pit lane, yeah.
So Tyler has got past the TCR leaders, but he may have been held up slightly. I think Tyler could really do with a win tonight again, just to close that gap a bit more on Simon Trendle going into the last 2 rounds. So Tyler stays out. Gary Craig, Stephen Walker stay out.
Rob Finn and Stefan Goebel is in.
Anybody fighting for places in the championship just want to make sure that they are on the coattails of whoever's in front of them going into the last round at Bathurst, where we know anything can happen. Especially if Pete's back.
Don't think he'll be around for long in that one if he is back.
No, Roadblock Bingham he's known as at Bathurst. Tyler's in. These two both stay out. So we need to see where Simon Trendle is. There he is.
Coming up to Brandel now at the back of the track, coming around the last section.
Into Bumhole. Into Coram. Don't overdo it. Into Murray's.
Tyler should be off. Tyler's starting to move now.
Ooh, yeah, I think Simon's done him.
It's going to be tight coming out of here.
Tyler's going to have to defend straight away.
Yep, he's got it.
There you go. Cold
Those-
tyres.
That was unfortunate. Pushing a little bit too hard. They trying to stay in the lead, but yeah, that is unfortunate. They're just doing a Pete coming out the first corner. Ah,
Yeah, cold rears. Simon took some good avoiding action there.
where does that drop him? That's dropped him
Will
back.
drop him down to 4th, won't it?
Yeah, he's lost quite a bit of time now. He's about 13 seconds off the lead now with that little spin, and that's unfortunate for him. But now we've seen Rob Venn and Stefan Goebel promoted up into the podium positions.
Yep.
What do we have here? We still got Gary Craig and Stephen Walker. They still haven't come into pit now. There's 36 minutes in. This is lap 29 for them, I think it is.
Yes, I believe it is.
Yeah. So that's quite a long way in. And yeah, I think it's going to be a cat and mouse game here of who's going to go in first and who can go who can go longer than the other. So let's see how much further they're going to go.
I think the interesting thing for me is we pretty much know that Gary's going to run it dry because that's his tactic. If Stephen just pits when Gary does, to me, that says that Stephen thinks he can probably get past Gary whenever he wants to. Or he's been able to save fuel behind Gary and will be able to do a slightly shorter fuel stop to get out in front of him.
Yeah, I think also if I was Steven right now, seeing that Chris Needham is coming up to the back of them here, he doesn't want to get he doesn't want to get another car between the two of them. If Chris Needham is going to want to get past and doesn't get past both of them in the same move, so I think that would also play on the mind of whether he's thinking he needs to pit or not, and that if that does happen, it only affects Steven, who's in second place, and not Gary. If Chris is able to get between the two of them. Another fake.
It was, wasn't it? Trying to frighten each other into stopping. So we've lost Jason Haddington from the TCR field. Not sure what happened.
Yep, there we go. You see Chris Needham wanting to make the move, and he needs to make the move on both of them. Yeah, he does manage to do that.
So I'm just keeping one eye on the gap between Stefan and Tyler, which isn't really coming down. Tyler's certainly wringing its neck. So we've had a quick message from Sir Alan Toon. He's got visitors, so he's missing us. Wonder who his visitors are.
You should have these visitors watching us too.
But exactly. Unless it's lady visitors.
You should have these visitors watching us too. How long are these two going to keep going here before one of them pulls in?
Yeah.
As much as Gary is going to come into the booth after this race and say that was so much fun and it was such a good battle, you know, when you're doing this, it is not fun having someone in your rearview mirror that close all the time for a full hour. It is as stressful as can be. I'm sure his heart is racing and he's sweating buckets at the moment. You know, so as he's going through this now, you know, fun is really not the right word, but afterwards he's going to come back and he's going to say, "Gee, you would have really enjoyed this this race, being able to keep it clean and keep it out front like he has for the last 40 minutes." He has done well. I mean, we spoke about it in the first 10 minutes of this race of how is he going to play it out and how is he going to keep this lead for the rest of it, and he's been able to do it for 40 minutes.
Yeah, I must admit I've enjoyed the pit feints. They're quite funny. I can remember doing that in a NASCAR race once, and I was having so much fun doing it that I actually forgot to pit when I needed to and run out of fuel. So, yeah. So, evening to James, and Sir Alan says he's got his nephews and nieces round. So, party going on at Mr. Toon's house. Everybody's invited. So, nearly 3/4 of the way through now.
So we've got 4 cars who haven't pitted yet. That's the top 4 TCRs. They're the only ones we're waiting for to still come in. But none of them look like they're wanting to be the first one to do that. So yeah, we'll. Ah. Oh.
Ooh, did he get that slowed up? I think he did.
Was it a winning fake, or was that part of the plan? It's this Russell Cowell also following him in. Now he needs to put in a good lap. He's got to put in. Stephen Walker's on his way out already. Stephen Walker's is out of the pits already. So yeah, hopefully Gary's put in a good lap here. Oh, who's that going wide there?
I think it was JB, wasn't it?
Yeah, so now Gary's coming up to the back TCR back markers here, so it might be, yeah, well, he's getting close to when he needs to stop now in any case.
Yeah, you would think it would be this time for Gary.
Yeah, it's just one lap more. Ryan as well.
Oh, Ryan's got another lap.
So where do we see Stephen is...
He's coming around Coram.
Already coming down the... And Gary's starting to move now. This is going to be tight again. Are we going to see a bit of a replay of what happened with Tyler and...
Well, I think Gary's done enough. He doesn't have to go crazy.
He comes out right in front of the GT4, who's going to be pushing him hard. That's Tyler. Gary get a bit of a pull from his stablemate here down the straight, and there's a much bigger gap between him and Ryan.
Yeah.
I'm sure Ryan will pull that gap back very quickly, but I'm sure Gary would enjoy just having a little bit of breathing room for at least the next 10 minutes if he can.
Okay, Ryan Walker is in. Okay, B has had a crash somewhere and he's pitted. Ryan Walker comes out where he went in third.
Yeah, I think Gary will be very, very happy with his performance here now. I mean, we've got 15 minutes left, and he's got a gap between himself and Stephen for the first time.
Yeah, he's got a couple of seconds, hasn't he?
Yeah, and considering the way they've been racing for the first half of this race, he's got to back himself to be able to hold on to that lead. Arno Shinani has gotten through Shane Powell there, at some point that we may have missed, but yeah, he's making his way back through.
Yeah, Shane obviously lost those positions at the start, didn't he? And he tried an early pit stop to see if that would make any difference, but it hasn't as yet. Tyler is starting to make very slight inroads into Stefan.
Yeah, it's just very small margins. And,
Yeah.
but I mean that's he's running out of time. He's gonna have to put in much quicker laps than the rest of the guys to be able to catch them up. He's just running out of time here. There's only 12 minutes left. So yeah, it's gonna take quite a feat to be able to make up any places from there now.
Rob Venn in second has probably got his biggest gap that he's had over Stefan Goebel in the whole race. GT4 is quite spread now.
This looks like a nice little squabble going on here between Arno Shinani and Shane Powell.
Yeah, well, we normally see Shane a bit further up, don't we? And we know last time we saw Arno, I think he had a bit of a stinker.
Yeah, Shane Powell's really been part of the best of the rest back there. It's been Gary Craig, Stephen Walker, Ryan Walker at the front, and then Shane Powell's been in that battle for fourth place, with a different cast every week.
Arno just run wide there.
Yeah, he's been in there with a different cast every week. Carl Hardy's been in there with him. Russell Cowell's been in there with him, and now we see Arno Shinania playing in that battle for fourth. So I'm sure he's having fun racing around with these guys.
So we got 10 minutes to go. So Shane Powell is now after Carl Hardy. Stephen Walker has taken a bit of time out of Gary Craig's lead. And Simon Trendle, leader of GT4. And he's got quite a hefty 6-second lead over Rob Venn after Tyler's little misdemeanor.
Yeah, I think Rob I think Rob is going to just manage this gap to Stefan Goebel for these last 10 minutes. He's now in a really good position for that second place. I don't think he's going to be able to catch the Simon Trendle up front there. So I think he's going to manage the gap to behind him for this last little bit to hold on to that podium place. And then Gary Craig is going to have to do the same with Stephen Walker. Try and just try and put in really good lap times without making any kind of mistakes. That's, like you said, it's one of the biggest gaps he's had between him and Simon since the pit stop. And he's managed to maintain that for the most part. Stephen He's clawing back slowly, lap by lap. He's clawing a little bit back, but if Gary can just sort of match him, or just sort of get as quickly as he can around here, he could run down the clock, and Stephen could run out of laps to catch him here. That I'm sure is the game plan.
I think the trouble is Stephen could be in the draft now. It's under a second and a half for the first time since the pit stops. Are we going to get another colossal finish in TCR?
Yeah, so looks like Stevens done about 3/10 quicker than Gary on that lap. And if he keeps that going, you should be catching him in about 4 laps time, which is just about how much we have left, 4 or 5 laps. And then he's obviously going to make the pass as well. So
he's definitely in the draft.
Yeah, so he's catching up to him, and Gary's going to have to really going to get his elbows out. He's going to get his elbows and his knees and everything else that he can out there to try and keep Stephen behind him. We know it's it would be easy to catch him if he is in the draft, but to get past it's going to be fun for us to watch. Yeah, looking at the timing screen there on the last lap, they've just about matched each other's lap time on the last lap. So good on Gary for just picking up that pace a little bit, and not allowing Stephen to close that gap, at least not in the last lap. And that's all he's got to do for the rest of this race, and he should be able to pull this off.
It's at this point of the race where, as the leader, you turn your relative off because you don't want to see that time coming down. And you can see how much Stephen Walker is trying.
Yeah, Gary's just got to look in front of him now and just drive the socks off of this car for the last 4 minutes at the easier. What's it, about 3, possibly 4 more laps to go here. Where's the leaders in the GT4s coming up to Nelson now? How many laps does he have? About 3 or 4
I think
laps.
there's going to be 3 laps.
Yeah. Still a second between them. Yeah, Gary's just got to push that car as fast as he can now, just to keep him. The last thing he wants on this last lap is to have Stephen Walker right in his back seat, like we've actually seen a little bit earlier. Just push it now, and so that you don't have to sit with that added pressure right at the end.
Yeah, traffic-wise, they're all right. David Ayres is on the track in front of them, but David is one of those guys that will just pull well out of the way to let them go.
Yeah, but he's
not interested in their battle.
Yeah, he's way too far ahead for them to catch him. Or at least I would think so. I mean, they're doing 1 minute 15s, and I think David's doing 1 minute 16. So, yeah, I don't think they're going to catch him. I think it's really going to be a question of, is Stephen Walker going to catch Gary Craig? That is the bigger one.
Well, Gary wouldn't mind catching David as long as it was in the right place. So it's under a second.
Yeah, so the GT4 is just past the start-finish line now, so we're gonna have 2 more laps after this one. Yeah, so that's how long Gary needs to hang on. He has managed to maintain that 1 second lead there, and Stephen was bringing down that. Stephen was bringing down that gap a little bit earlier, but now it seems to have pulled up his socks, Gary, and he's pushing it hard enough to keep that gap constant.
So 2 laps for these guys. Trendle, your GT4 leader, is about to come round and start the final lap.
Yeah, I think Gary's got this in the bag. Yeah, it looks like not to jinx him too early, but if he can just keep it going, yeah, I think that gap is a little bit too big for Stephen Walker to catch it without him making any mistakes. He's done well. We have here Shane Powell in the back of Carl Hardy. This is the other close battle. This is the closest battle on the track at the moment. Ooh. Ooh.
Well done, Shane Powell there. Okay, so Simon Trendle is going to take another GT4 win for Team Chimera.
Yep, there he goes. Another good drive from him. And a good second place for Rob Win there. And Stefan Goebel in third. And now we look out for that battle here. It looks like Gary Craig's pulled it off. Stephen Walker has just settled into that second place there. And Gary's a very good job done by Gary Craig this evening to pull off this win. It's the first win that isn't first Walkerless win this season. Well done to Gary. Excellent drive from Gary Craig to take that win. Stephen Walker coming in second, and now we'll see Ryan Walker coming around. Ryan Walker coming in to finish in third.
Stephen Walker's saying he finished the race with 3.5 laps worth of fuel, so that may be where it all went a bit Pete Tong.
Yeah, that's quite a few seconds in the pit lane there if it's 3 laps extra.
Certainly is.
And well, yeah, we have our results up there. GT4 winner we saw there, Simon Trendle. Rob Venn in second place for BSTV Esport Orange. Stefan Goebel, another good podium for VTS Esport. And then Tyler Newitt, how unfortunate it was. That spin in turn 1 as he came out of the pits. BSTV Esport Orange. And then Chris Needham, RWC Racing Black in 5th place.
Okay, so your TCR finishing positions. First win of the season, I believe, for Gary Craig for BSTB Esports Green. Stephen Walker, he'll definitely be unlucky tonight. In second for Spectre 6 Purple. Ryan Walker, another third position for BSTV Esports Blue. Then we had Russell Cowell in fourth. Carl Hardy in 5th, Shane Powell in 6th, Arnaud Chenonnier in 7th, David Ayres in 8th, JB Dejoux in 9th, and rounding out your field was Jason Haddington in 10th. So, I'll tell you what, Yaz, I am going to give you Gary Craig to interview. Whilst I go and set up something else. So, first into the booth, TCR winner, Gary Craig. Over to you, Yaz.
Unlucky Gary Craig. You've pulled off a victory this week. Well done. Good work done. And I'm sure you're sweating buckets.
I really am, yeah. It's not pleasant here right now.
Well, it was a pleasant win. First one of the season. You put one over our, his luck has run out there for the first time. What was that like?
I didn't have a massive yell of victory at the end. I would have done last week if I'd got that, but tonight it was just a relief because I think it's been 2 seasons since I had a win last, and just to finally get one and to actually, have a really good performance all night. That was just a long time coming that I think somebody took one off Steve, but he gave me a great race tonight. We broke away at the front, did some fuel saving, and then I think he just took too much fuel. That was it pretty much. He put a lot of pressure on at the end after I made a little bit of mistake in Brundle, but that was really good race.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the first half of the race where you guys were going, and basically Stephen was in your back seat for most of just about all of that first stint. And then we saw a couple of fakes into the pit lane. I don't know if he fell when he did go in, if he fell for yours, because that was probably the best fake that you put on all night. And he just went in behind you. But yeah, it looked like his pit stop was just a little bit longer than what yours was, and that's what made the difference.
Yeah, I mean, I was diving for the pits for a laugh. I knew he wouldn't take it because there was, he had a second in behind, so he could have easily pulled out if I'd pulled out. But we were coming up behind JB and David, who were battling. So I think he probably pit just to make sure we didn't get involved in that. Whereas I stayed out to see if I could maybe get close to their toe. But then they were battling, and I noticed I was in like 3 seconds, but I was 2 seconds a lap quicker, and it just takes one little mistake. So I decided to dive back in just to play it safe. But I ended the race with half a lap of fuel. He ended the race with 3 laps of fuel. So that's where it was, I think.
Yeah, when you guys went over the line at the end, it was just about a second. We saw him claw back that lead, like you say, towards the end. He was putting that pressure on. But once it settled at around a second, you sort of picked up the pace and sort of matched his pace to be able to manage that lead. So it was really a well constructed race. You're saying you're quite relieved, more than ecstatic about the win. We've been talking about it all season, and finally someone's pulled one out of the bag, and after being close over the last few races, you've made it over the line in the lead. I'm sure that's a really good feeling.
It is. I mean, we've had 5 fantastic races. We've had Sebring, Spa, Catalunya, Road Atlanta, and now here. And we've had really close battles, and it could have gone any way in any one of those 5 races. And Stephen won the first 4. So it's, last week I couldn't have got any closer, and I loved Clyde's reaction on the broadcast. Just, yes. That was fantastic. Again, Sebring, I probably had the pace, but ended up, just having the move too early, and then managed to make a gap after the pits there, got that 2 seconds, got him out of my draft, and then made a little mistake which made the second, like that last 20 minutes, a lot harder than it could have been.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, you got over the line first and got the win, and we all as chuffed as you are to have gotten the win. Not that we're wishing bad things on Stephen, but it's really great to see that he's pushed you guys, yourself and Ryan, he's pushed you from the beginning of the season to improve, and you've taken on that challenge, and now you've surpassed it. So well done on that victory. Before you go, is there anybody you'd like to say thank you to?
Yeah, I mean, big thanks to the guys that we race with. Like last night, me, Stephen, Ryan, and Russell were all in Discord doing the official together, having a laugh. We have great battles on track, but we're also just having a laugh at the same time. So it's really good racing with those guys. So thanks to those guys, and thanks to you, of course, for the broadcast and for organising the leagues, and for everyone who watches and all the sponsors.
Yeah, well done again on your victory. We hope to see more. There's a couple of more races this season. We hope to see more of them before the end of the season.
Fingers crossed.
Yep. Cheers, guys.
Thanks very much. Cheers, these guys.
Okay, so Gary Craig there. So for me, I shall bring in Simon Trendle, our GT4 winner. Welcome to the booth.
Evening.
Good evening. So, first half of that race, fantastic battle with you and Tyler. And then when he came out of the pits and you was behind him, and it was like, oh, he's going to get it done. Oh, no, he's not. And then Tyler just rotating on those rear cold tyres. Some good avoidance from you as well to not hit him. So, what did you think of your race?
Yeah, that was pretty fun. It's I quite like that track. I shouldn't, because they butchered the second corner, but it sort of works. I just wanted to lead because I didn't want to die in the draft and have to deal with learning how to drive the McLaren in the draft. It's a tricky car around there, and I'd probably make more mistakes than I already did. So leading was what I wanted to do, which is why I kept fighting back whenever Tyler had a pop at me. And that seemed to work. He obviously was able to jump me in the pits. And yeah, I don't know how that second half would have gone. Both of us probably think we could have won that, so probably that's the sign of a good race, really.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, the official result will show, you know, a comfortable win for Simon Trendle. But in all fairness, especially the first half of the race before Tyler's mistake, that wasn't the way. Like you say, we see Tyler get past you, then you took the lead back again. How are you handling the fuel on the Macca this season? It seems to be a bit better than it was.
Yeah, I've looked at it. It doesn't seem to be that much. It's maybe a tiny bit more, but I naturally use less fuel than Jamie by comparison normally, so I tend to neutralise it by default. So it's not too bad. I can sort of work around it.
Yeah, well, I suppose we shouldn't really talk about Leadfoot Wilson, but I hope he's recovering from whatever's wrong with him. I've just updated the scores in the background whilst Yaz was doing his interview. So 2 rounds left. You've got a 107-point lead at the moment. Is that enough for you to be confident yet?
Probably not, because I suspect that the Hungaroring is going to support the Cayman very well. Lots of long corners, and it was monstering me in the second to last one here at Snetterton, so I'm probably going to struggle next week. And my history at Bathurst with McLarens is terrible, because I binned it on the second lap of the last race I did there. After someone had Ben Tusney had done 2 hours in the car and then binned it on the second lap. So, me and Bathurst and McLarens don't go well.
I've been there, mate, with Bingham, believe me. So that's I suppose if Tyler can claw some points back off of you next week, he just wants to be in touching distance, doesn't he? Because we know that last round anything can happen,
and it will, because I'll probably die.
Well, I do like your confidence. Any shout outs you want to give before we let you go?
Yeah, everyone in the league for turning up, you guys for broadcasting, and I guess I was mean to Jamie last week, but I'll be nice in this week and hope he gets well soon.
Brilliant. Okay, mate, well, congratulations on your win, and we'll see you next time out.
Would it?
Okay, so next up for you, Yaz, it's Unlucky Walker.
Stephen Walker, congratulations on your first second place this season.
Yeah, no, cheers, mate. I appreciate it. It was a good race. It was a really good race. I think me and Gary were rolling around saving some fuel, and I do think he had the legs on me today of that. And going by the official yesterday, he'll say it's the other way around, but I thought I had it, but then I completely messed up I put too much fuel in. That's the last week where I didn't have enough. This week I did too much, and then I missed my outlap and was struggling to make it back, because obviously we were on the same pace. The only reason why I got any closer is because Gary just made a tiny error. He just said he hit the curb, which I think one lap I was 0.6 quicker, and then that got me in the toe. But after that I still couldn't do it. I started pushing too hard, but it was a fun race.
Yep. We spoke about how you've pushed them to sort of up their level and up their game, and they seem to have really shown that improvement over the last few weeks, and now for the first time they've actually surpassed that and got the win. Even though you've come second, we can still credit you with pushing Gary and Ryan to the levels that they've gotten. But for your race here tonight, you chased him down in the first 45 minutes before those pit stops. Yes, you say there was a bit of an error in fueling up a little bit too much, and in the chase. What sort of how did it sort of play out for you in that hour? We spoke about the toe, we spoke about all those things. How did it play out in the hour, and what were you thinking in that push that you were giving Gary?
Yeah. So depending on how the start went and where I qualified, I had a few ideas of what I wanted to do, but after that chaotic start, I think, all that got put out the window. So I was like, well, I'll just do as normal and sit behind Gary. And I assumed we'd fuel save enough for Ryan to pick up to us or catch us up. But we carried on just kind of pulling away just a little bit slower when we were fuel saving. There was a little bit of cat and mouse as to who was going to pit first and when it would be and things like that. So that was a bit of good fun. I was chuckling to myself for a good few laps when we were doing that. And then when I saw we were coming up to I think it was JB and someone, I can't remember who it was, I was like, well, we might catch them this lap because they were battling. So I was like, right, I'll pit now. And then I assumed Gary would pit the lap straight after. But if he'd pitted first, I was just going to stay out and run the tank empty and pit in at the last possible moment just to help with fuel consumption. So, yeah, it was just, like I say, just trying to stay in its toe for the first part of the race and then, see what we like, have a battle afterwards. We had a nice gap to Ryan in the end after the pit stops, and that was the plan. But obviously, I messed it up myself. But I'm not taking anything away from Gary. He fully deserved that. He drove brilliantly, and after last week, I think he deserves it as well because that was so close. So I am well pleased for him. He, like you say, he's really upped his game, particularly the last few weeks, and he more than deserves that win.
And going into the last race, we know the championship is all but wrapped up in the Tcrs. But going into the last two races, I think we've got Hungaroring next week and Bathurst. What's your feelings around there?
Hungaroring, I drove it when it was released. I did it a lot in the Porsche Cup, and I quite like it as a track. It's quite I think it's my kind of track. I do like it. Whether I'll be quick round it in this car, I don't know. Obviously, I have to do a bit of practice with the guys when the servers go up. And then the one I'm looking forward to most is Bathurst. It's my favourite track. So if I have a rubbish race there, I'll be a bit annoyed. So I'm just looking forward to driving the next two tracks and racing the guys again, because it's always great racing no matter where we are.
Well, that's good to hear. But just before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Obviously, you guys for putting the thing together, and the sponsors and that, the rest of my team. I think Russ had a good race, finished fourth, and my brother for again being my cheerleader, and just to Gary just for winning a very thoroughly deserved win for him. Yeah, we'll go again next week.
Well, despite not winning, well done in that second place, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, cheers guys, thank you very much, appreciate it. Take care.
Okay, so next up, let's bring in our second place GT4 driver, Rob Venn. Welcome to the booth.
Hello.
Hello. Great result for you there. We sort of thought that, it was going to be a battle between Simon and Tyler for the win, and you would... you'd be battling Stefan for the third spot on the podium, but a mistake by your teammate promotes you up to second. And as they say, you've got to be in the right position to take advantage of them. So a great night's work from you.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I mean, the strategy at the start was almost to try and sort of just keep on the coattails of Simon and Tyler a little bit, and I was hoping they'd sort of drag me away from Stefan a bit. But yeah, it didn't happen like that. But yeah, I got lucky at the end, and yeah, Tyler had a little spill, and yeah, I just sort of came home second. It was good.
Yeah, we will talk to Tyler about his little spill, because that was quite amusing. But yeah, we were saying in the broadcast, you've had a bit of a break, and I was saying that obviously we've known each other through iRacing for a number of years, and to me you're always one of those momentum drivers, and a break doesn't always do you any good. To me, you're one of those that the more you drive the car and the more regularly you drive the car, the faster you become. Would that be fair?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, after I've sort of come back, it's been 3 weeks. It's the third week, isn't it now? But yeah, I sort of need time. Yeah, seat time in the car just to get my eye dialed in. And yeah, it's starting to come back now, sort of thing. But yeah, it's it's good. But yeah, I did a bit more practice this week and that type of thing, and that obviously always helps. And yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, it certainly does. And obviously, a couple of races left this season. Hungaroring. Have you had a blast round there yet?
I've had a blast round there, but I'm not going to be around next week. Yeah,
shame.
which is a bit of a shame. I know. There's not much I can do about it. Hungaroring, I've done a bit of driving around. I forget what got Bathurst, haven't we? And
Bathurst is the last one.
So I'll be back for that. But yeah,
gonna be fantastic. I think any car that goes around Bathurst, it usually produces a brilliant race. But yeah, so as you say, you're not going to be here next week. Stand-ins, obviously, with your sort of mid-season break, you're not right up there where we would expect you to be. But will you be back for another season?
Yeah, I'll be back next season. Yeah, it's only real life work stuff getting in the way. But I should be back hopefully full time next season. So there's nothing I can foresee that's going to get in the way. So yeah, it'll be good, and I'm sort of looking forward to that. And I'm sort of the next couple of weeks and stuff like that is almost preparing for next season rather than necessarily doing anything this season. It's sort of the good results and stuff like that are almost a bonus. It's more getting in the seat time and the practice.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, say congratulations on that second place. Any shout outs you want to give before we let you go?
Yeah. Thank you to you guys for putting on all the stream and the racing and doing the championship stuff. All the drivers and the team for all the support and long work. May it continue.
Okay, well, enjoy whatever you're doing next week, and we'll see you at Bathurst.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Yaz, have we? Yes, we have. Let's bring in our third place TCR's driver, Ryan Walker.
Lucky Walker. How are you, Ryan? Well done on another podium finish. This time you saw your stablemate Gary Craig take the win away from Stephen Walker, but you got another podium again. Ever consistent. We didn't see much of you on the broadcast, but I'm sure you enjoyed that race nonetheless.
Yeah, I enjoyed that race. I wasn't really expecting to do anything tonight because Snetterton's not really been a track that I've always been quick at. So I just thought, as long as I finish in front of Russell, that's my aim to try and seal third place in the championship, and managed to do that. I think I might have sealed third place in the championship, but still we've got three rounds left in the championship, I think. So yeah, I'm not getting carried away. So just looking ahead to the end of the season and just taking it as it comes.
Yeah, we've got 2 more races left, and you probably did do enough this evening to seal third place. But that being said, we're going into the next 2 races at Hungaroring and Bathurst. Are those 2 tracks that you enjoy?
I've never done any racing around the Hungaroring or Bathurst with the TCR. I think I've done a race around Hungary with the Skip Barber, but that's about it. And I find it a really good fun track. So I think with the TCR and GT4s, I think it should be a good combination.
How do you we spoke to both Gary and Stephen about the improvements of that you guys have shown over the last few weeks in catching Stephen. Have you tonight? It was a bit of a gap, but over the last few weeks, you've definitely seen the improvement. Have you been feeling it? Have you been? How has it been playing out in the rest of your racing?
Yeah, I've definitely noticed an improvement. I think the thing I'm still having to learn with this TCR is it's not like a rear-wheel drive car where you can just throw it into the corners. You've got to be a lot more smooth with your throttle and steering inputs, but it's a fun car, and I've enjoyed racing it this season. And you've also got the likes of Russell as well, who are starting to improve, and they actually stuck with me for most of the race. And yeah, it's good. It's just good to see more and more drivers getting closer to the front.
Oh well, it's a lot of fun to watch when that is happening as well for us. in the booth, and I'm sure for the viewers as well. Talking about viewers, before you go, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
First of all, you guys for putting on the broadcast tonight. Also the BSTV esports team for making it a fun team and fun community to be in. And lastly, congratulations to Gary for taking the win. I think it's, I'm not sure, I think it's the first time that Stephen's been beaten this season, but nevertheless, it's good to see Gary take the win, and also good to see Rob having a good race in GT4 and taking a podium.
Oh, well done for that podium run, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, so we've got a couple of fourth place drivers now. So let's bring in Mr. Tyler Newitt. Welcome to the booth.
Hello.
Hello. So that was going to plan, shall we say? And then, you certainly are not the first driver to do it, and you won't be the last one. But desperately trying to stay in front and just losing the rear there.
Yeah, it was knowing that I pretty much had to win to have a shot in the championship, and pushing a little too hard out of the pit lane because, I think I was quicker than Simon today. I feel pretty confident I had the pace to beat him, but yeah, it was, I had even tested left side tires in practice. Didn't have an issue. Just gave it a little too much juice, I guess, and it stepped out on me. So it's a shame, but it's nice to be the anchor for the team for once, because everyone else, I think, got a podium. So it's I'm pulling them back.
Well, I've got a little bit of good news for you. So talking to Simon, he firmly believes that Hungaroring is going to favour the Porsche, and he also said he's rubbish at Bathurst.
Yeah, well, Hungaroring may favour the Porsche, but not only have I not driven it in iRacing in every sim I've driven it in, I've been awful. So we might see a Rob Venn win, I think, next week. But I'm not confident in Hungaroring. I am confident in Bathurst, but the chances of me going there with an opportunity to win the championship, I think, are rather low. So it's a shame, especially since this is my last shot at it. But it is what it is.
Never say never. We saw you sporting some very fetching clothing tonight.
Yeah, I feel like I'm officially part of the team now. The whole past year I wasn't, but now I really am a BSTV esports driver.
I think next time we get some, we're going to try and get some with the fake muscles stitched into them as well. Just so you've been a bit of a model tonight for us, but not a very good one. So we'll try and make you look better next time.
Yeah, I told the guy. Well, that's fine. I'm going to need a new one because I told the guys I'm going to have to burn it because it's bad luck. Yeah, I'll take that new one now with the muscles either way.
Okay, so we've talked about the upcoming races. You possibly have ruled out the championship in your mind, but still a lot of racing to go, and there's still some fun to be had out there. And I think you guys are testament that we always see the GT4 field dwindle a little bit, but we still get fantastic racing. It's really good to see, and long may it continue.
Yeah, I hope so. I realized I made a very vague statement earlier. It's going to continue without me because I finally got a job lined up. So this is going to be my final GT4 season. But I'm hoping to come into Bathurst and win by so much that you just have to give the championship to me. I think that's, if I can beat Simon by 40 seconds, I feel like that'll deserve the championship. So that's my goal, is to make a statement in Bathurst and win by as much as possible.
Well, congratulations on the job. I presume it's some sort of head honcho in the sex cult.
Exactly. Yeah, you got it.
Any shout outs you want to give before we let you go?
Yeah, shout out to Gary for finally getting it done. It's been a long time coming for him, and he fully deserves it. Shout out to Rob for his best run of the season so far. He really, I was a little stuck in there behind Simon, but Rob was keeping up just fine. He felt like Rob from a couple seasons ago, so hopefully he can bring more of that these last couple races. Shout out to Ryan for another podium. Everyone else in the chat, JB, that was it this week. But yeah, the whole team is awesome. And shout out to you guys, of course, for the broadcast.
Excellent. Well, commiserations for tonight, and we'll see you next time out.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, final one for you, Yaz, and that is Mr. Russell Cowell. Welcome to the booth.
Thanks. Hey, guys.
Well done. All right. How are you doing? Well done in that race there. You finished a good, is it fourth place there, Russell?
Yeah.
Had a good battle with Ryan for most of that. I'm sure you had some fun.
I was just trying to keep the gap, trying to keep it to a minimum, but it didn't happen. At one point, I think he was 14 seconds ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just me trying to keep on the track, keep the pace going. Felt like the tortoise in the rabbit against 3 rabbits at the front that were just sprinting away from me, to be honest. But with all the accident, well, not the accidents, but all the racing behind me, I think they weren't pushing each other towards me. They were just battling each other.
Yeah, and we saw your teammate being beaten for the first time this season. But in the championship battle, Ryan alluded to him just trying to stay ahead of you so that he could seal his place for third place. You've now got a battle to hold on to fourth place with Shane Powell quite closely. Are you looking forward to the next 2 races? How do you go around Hungaroring and Bathurst?
Hungaroring, I've done some practicing in this car, and I felt like the car drove around there quite well. Might be a different story because when I did it last time, it was without a tune. So hopefully I can be quicker with a tune. But it's an exciting track. There's definitely a bit that I'm not looking forward to on the track, which is you go up a hill. There's a left-hander, but on the other side there's a massive curb that makes the car literally somersault in the air. So I've got a feeling I need to polish up on that corner. And Bathurst, it's just going to be about staying out the walls. Pretty much listening to Mr. Walker himself to learn how to drive that track, because in our group of friends, he's definitely the most consistent around Bathurst, and it'd be good to get some pointers off him before the race.
Yeah, Bathurst is one of those tracks you just need to be consistent at. You don't need to be exceptionally quick. It's just like you say, keeping out of the walls and just nailing those lines. But yeah, so you've got a battle on your hands to keep Shane Powell behind you for the next 2 races. I'm sure you're looking forward to that.
Yeah, we do a lot of practice together. So we practice side by side racing, pushing each other along. But we've always said to each other, if we're next to each other in the race, it's all about racing each other. I'm not going to turn around and say multi-21, I want to get past you, because we know it's quite close between us both. So everything's fair between us both on the track. Like we've been doing a lot of practice. Shane's been putting some absolute amazing times in. He just got unlucky tonight, obviously, with his incident in the I think it's turn 5 under the bridge.
Yep.
But after he did that, obviously I knew that was my time to just keep it on the track and keep going.
Well done for another good finish. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to before you go?
Yeah, you guys, obviously, for putting it on. My teammates for pushing me along, obviously, during practice and stuff. Wook's obviously pushing us. All the practice I've been doing with Shane, he's just been pushing me along to try and keep up with him. And no show, Matt Elmore, for not showing up, because he would have definitely beaten me tonight. And Tony for watching us all.
Well done again on another good race, and we look forward to seeing you in the next 2.
Cheers, guys. Speak to you later.
Okay, gents, so that's the interviews over. Another fantastic night's racing from these guys in the BSTV GT4 TCR Challenge. Sam, any highlights from you?
Well, Steven doesn't win and Tyler has crashed. I think that's two rare things.
Yeah, can't disagree with that. And Yaz, any standout for you?
No, I think the standout is really the fact that Stephen Walker didn't win. Gary Craig put in a performance to take the victory. That was that's definitely the standout. Might even be the standout of the season.
Okay, well, let me put you guys on the spot then, and let's start with Sam. Your driver of the meeting, please.
I've been thinking for so long and I can't decide. It's tough.
Well,
he's on screen right now. We'll give it to Simon. He drove a perfect race again.
Okay, so vote there for Simon Trendle. Yaz, your driver of the meeting?
I was going to give it to a winner to definitely have been Gary Craig, but for me tonight, the driver of the day for me tonight is Rob Vin. On his return, he's just been back for a couple of weeks and he's managed to put it in second place. So for me, it's Rob Vin.
Okay, vote for Rob Venn. And from me, everything is screaming at me that I should change my voting protocol and vote for Gary Craig, but I'm not going to because I don't like to change my mind. So I'm going to vote for Stephen Walker. A, for coming second and letting Gary win, and B, he gets my vote for all the times that I should have voted for him, but he kept coming first, so I couldn't. So, Stephen Walker for me.
Good reasoning there.
Yeah. So, coming up on BSTV, after a nice quiet weekend, we are full on this weekend. We have our new series, the BSTV 992 Challenge, featuring the new Porsche GT3 Cup car, the 992. It is media day from Watkins Glen. The grid is filling up, and it's going to be fantastic battles of single class racing. Then on Sunday, we're back to yeehawing again. We're with the BSTV Truck Series from Daytona. Hopefully, if Pete is free to broadcast, I shall be back in the cockpit and let the carnage ensue that is Daytona. That's going to be good fun. And as we've already said, next Wednesday, we're back with the penultimate round of this season and this series from Hungaroring. So lots of good racing coming up. So thanks to all the drivers, as usual, for making this series so special. Thanks to everybody that watches us, everybody that comments on the chat. Thanks to Sam and Yaz for joining me tonight. Don't forget to drop the video a like. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Facebook so you never miss any of the action. I shall say good night, let the guys say good night, and then we'll close the broadcast. So good night, everybody. Thanks for watching and stay safe.
Good evening, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that.
And good night, everybody. See you on the weekend.